second set will be played on Acheron Wastes. Spawning in the bottom right-hand position, our second Protoss from SK Telecom T1 in the orange. His name is Paralyze.
His opponent spawns in the left top position. His name is Turn, playing for Samsung Khan, playing as Blue Terran on Acheron Wastes.
So were there any interesting hair points that the Korean commentators made?
No, because I was only focusing to our, only listening to our conversation and only listening to the word natural, hair, afro, paralyze. So
those key buzzwords. I guess those ones are maybe the hard ones to ignore. Well, in a battle of hair, Paralyzed beats pretty much everyone. Maybe not Boxer, but...
Well, we do have some new contender because if you count in the dyeing hair, and who was the player that dyed their hair red a few days ago?
Oh, MMA, I believe.
Was it? No, there was someone else.
Yeah, there was
the strawberry slash tomato.
Oh, well, that's Tails from MVP.
Yeah.
Playing in the WCS EU League, he came back for GSTL, I believe, during the down season. And yeah, that hairstyle, I don't know why he did it. I don't know what to say about it. But a lot of pro gamers are really going out of their way to change their hairstyle nowadays. They really want to differentiate themselves from other people, or just like, you know, do it because as a pro gamer, I mean, you don't need to have a business style haircut. You can kind of do whatever you want. I mean, you are on TV a lot of the times, but really, I mean, that's not going to prevent you from being on TV.
Quote-unquote entertainer slash sports athlete.
Yeah.
You're not a businessman on television, so you need to stylize yourself.
Exactly.
I mean, it's just like the same talk that we had when I first came out here and started wearing just basketball jerseys. I mean, just regular t-shirts and basketball shorts, and people are like, no, you got to dress a lot better.
Yeah, man. Exactly. You've definitely improved in the dressing department. I have as well, though.
You have as well.
It's
Now we do have a Reaper coming out really fast eBay that's going to block Paralyze's expansion.
Yeah. I love when Terran players do this, man, especially with the fast Reaper. It does delay that expansion for a while, and just it's annoying to Protoss. They don't want to play against this. They'd much rather see a Terran player go for a fast expansion or something else. And close, man, but that's pro gamers for you. They'll do this.
Yeah, they'll do this, and Turn, like I said before, he opens up standard, a little bit more greedy than some other Terran players out there, but that's only because the Protoss players and the Zerg opponents expect a really aggressive opening from Turn. And Turn is pretty much using that to his advantage as he opens up greedy behind this opening, as he's getting a command center and a reactor behind this.
Zealot's going to work on this engineering bay over here. We also have the Militia Corps out and a Stalker on the way as well. If that Reaper gets killed, we can see Paralyze go for some counter pressure after this engineering bay is cancelled.
Nice macro, just going to avoid the Militia Corps and going to go inside the main base to get a scout. Never mind, the Stalker kills it.
Oh. Well, this is going to prompt Paralyze to go for aggression as soon as the engineering bay is canceled, is killed off here. And here's the problem: there's no bunker at the natural, and okay, well, he's building it now.
The bunker is being built, but I don't know if it will finish in time. There's only 2 Marines out, and he's building a 3rd command center behind this, which means that he cut minerals to get a 3rd command center instead of 2 Marines immediately after the initial 2 Marines finished.
This could be bad, man, for our Terran player. He needs to buy time in order to kill off that expansion. Paralyze saying, I don't even care, I'm just going to kill off these Marines. And not really doing a great job. Focus fire, actually, a lot of mistakes there.
He should have killed
2 Marines can't bring Stalker down that low on health. That's unacceptable, I feel.
He was killing the 1 Marine and then started killing the other Marine now that HP was saved across the 2 Marines, and he was just trying to balance them until the very last second.
Yeah. And also, Paralyze, he does scout this 3rd command center here. I would like to see him do some damage to that Militia Corps, though. I feel like there's a lot of potential there for Paralyze to do a lot more economic damage than he did.
Well, I don't think Paralyze realized how many Marines his opponent has right now. So that's the reason why he didn't want to risk it, because usually players at this point, they'll have a lot of Raxus out inside the main base to a point where the Militia Corps comes in and scouts the main base, the Marines pop out of nowhere and snipes it right away.
All right, well, Nexus finishing for Paralyze. He is getting an Observer out behind this, as well as a Forge. Despite seeing the 3rd command center, still playing very standard. I would like to see him try something very greedy as a response to such a fast 3rd command center, or maybe a timing attack, because, you know, Turn, because he's going for such a greedy build, his tech is going to be delayed and he's not going to have as much units. I feel like a 2-base all-in would actually be really good against this style.
2-base all-in would be great. Getting a third Nexus right now would also be great because you get the third command center, excuse me, not the command center, the Nexus so early to a point when your opponent has some medivacs out trying to harass. Your third base economy has been kicking in right away, and it seems like Turn wants to pause the game.
All right, so there is, seems like some type of issue with Turn's computer.
I think Turn became really sensitive to computer issues after his loss last week at Shinnorim Studio.
Yeah, it's possible. And yeah, this did happen before, and unfortunately, he lost a game because of it. So Turn with another issue here, and I don't know. This kind of it's a little bit weird. We don't generally see the players do pause as much, and for one player to do it in such a short amount of time in between games or matches, it's just a little bit perplexing, I guess.
I think the biggest issue for Turn last week was he was unhappy with the setting midway, and then he called for a PP saying, I could have had a better engagement if it wasn't for these settings over here, or if it wasn't for something happening during the battle, but he called it after the engagement. So now he's a little bit more sensitive to these issues. So when he sees it happening, he pauses the game. He wants to make sure that everything is perfect before such scenario happens.
Yeah, that's true.
And this is the reason why players like Flash, they bring out rulers. Players like Go Rush, he set up the computer for 30 minutes because they don't want to blame the equipment when they lose the game.
Yeah, they only want to have to blame themselves if they lose. Or if they want to be really, really weird about it, they can blame their build order. Like, my build order lost, not me.
That is quite true, too.
There are actually build order losses. You can lose that way occasionally, but generally it does come down to the player's skill.
Seems like there was some... this is going to be another warning for Turn, as he did not set up the hotkeys properly before going into the game.
Again?
Again.
You think that he would have learned by now.
Well, it happened.
I don't know what to say about that, man. I think that I actually would be really unhappy with him if I was like the Samsung comm coach right now. I'd be like, come on.
Let's just be lucky about the fact that Turn, he found it out before before it went to the crucial point where he needed to build something and he didn't make him because he didn't notice that the hotkey wasn't binded correctly.
Yeah. I wonder, man, maybe Turn just has like the weirdest hotkeys in the world or something, and he maybe missed someone of them or something. It's possible.
This is highly possible.
All right, well, he is getting a star prep behind this. We do see Paralyze going for the fast forge style of play. It's very common nowadays from Protoss players, but generally after they open up Stargate, Paralyze just went for the Robo early on. Stim on the way as well, about halfway down. We do have the +1 attack starting for our Terran player as well as the +1 armor. Paralyze has a few more Stalkers in his army here. He's getting the Robotics Bay as well behind this, so it makes me wonder, is he going to go for the 2-base or just take an earlier expansion? Remains to be seen.
Yeah, the Paralyze's play right now is so standard. He saw the early third command center, yet he didn't opt to go for 2-base all-in, or he's not opted to go for really fast third Nexus. Still, it's only 9 minutes into the game, and he could still get a Nexus right now and call it relatively early compared to regular PPT out there. But now the timing window has gone as Turn's medivacs are coming out, and if Paralyze decides to take a third base right now, it's gonna get harassed until the very last second in the game.
Yeah, moving that third command center over there is a bit of a risky move, I feel. But Paralyze doesn't look like he really cares about punishing his opponent for anything.
Yeah.
And a nice scan here, gonna pick off that Observer.
Did the Observer see the 2 barracks at the natural?
That's
a lot of barracks that's going up right now.
Okay,
4 additional barracks that's going up. +1/+1 also out of the way with the armory being built.
All right, well, Paralyze is grabbing a third base here. So I guess it's still pretty early compared to the average third against a Terran player. Of course, as a response to Turn's faster third base, this Observer going to miss the drops ever so slightly, and the drops are going to get completely spotted here. But the Stalkers out of position. There's nothing to help cover their fire. They do snipe off one of the medevacs here, though. Those Marines, they can eventually pick off those Stalkers, but they're trying to run away here, and yeah, they're going to die.
And he should focus the fire on the Nexus and just lift the Marines into the main base as soon as the Zealots arrive there. His opponent, Paralyzed, he only has a handful of Zealots over here. Once Colossus is out, but all Turn has to do is lift
Oh,
and get
wow.
away.
He forced a cancel on that Nexus.
Yes, that's all he needs to do at this point. Like I said, getting a third not getting an early third Nexus leads to this result. If a Protoss player tries to take a Nexus right now, Turns Medivacs can deny it constantly.
Oh, Paralyzed still has a slight supply advantage here, but that is going to change very soon. Our Terran player's macro is going to be kicking in this full swing. He's got the third base online, the additional barracks. Focusing on his 2-2 upgrades right now. Paralyzed about to have 1-1. Then he is getting a second forge behind this. Does have the Twilight Council as well to allow the additional upgrades here. Blink on the way, Colossus range on the way, and Vikings and Hellbats on the way. So everyone is building everything, basically.
Yeah, but I like the build by Turn right now because he's getting the Vikings out to counter the Colossus. He's getting a lot of Hellbats. He can even pull a lot of SCVs right now because Paralyzed, he didn't take a third. He saw the early third command center from Turn. He didn't try to counter it by going for an all-in or some kind of a early third Nexus on his own, which means that his Templar Archives, yes, it's going up right now, but it's going to get delayed a little bit because now he's only sitting on two bases, excuse me, only on 4 gases, which means that he's going to be pretty low on gas to go for Colossus and Templar at the same time.
Indeed. Well, that probe got sniped there. Probably wanted to build a few proxy pylons, but Turn spotting that before it can do anything. He's moving across the map now. It looks like he wants to make an attack happen. The combat shields is about to complete here. The 2-2 getting pretty close as well. He may just try to contain his opponent and apply a little bit of passive pressure, but I think he wants to go for the attack. I would love to see him wait for the 2-2 to finish because that's going to make a big difference in the fight.
Yeah, and it's so scary for Protoss players because they don't know what's going to happen behind this. He doesn't have any observers scouting what his opponent Turn has. He does see the rocks being taken out, but he doesn't know if there's any Medivacs going inside the main base. This is the reason why Paralyzed has to be on top of this game right now, scouting his minimap just to see when the main battle happens, if there's any Medivac drop going inside the main base to snipe the Nexus or any important tech buildings.
Yes. Turn's army composition very powerful right now, can deal easily with what the Protoss player has. Storm is not complete. The 2-2 for the Terran player will complete just before the Protoss player. It's going to be very close though. He needs to hit this timing on the dot. Otherwise, they're going to be even on upgrades. So the 2-2 completes. Turn, he needs to attack now if he wants to utilize this. Otherwise, the 2-2 from Paralyze will complete, and based on the timings, it looks like he is going to have that, and he's also going to have Storm for the fight.
Yeah, this is going to be a little bit bad for Turn as he sees a Colossus, but he doesn't expect any Storms, and the Storm is going to finish, and Paralyze is going to push up after the Storm is finished.
At least one advantage for Turn is that he's doing a great job sniping off these observers. And oh, I like this little mini run by from Turn, and he's moving in at the same time. So regardless, he will do some economic damage. The Storm is complete though. One Storm goes down, hits a good amount of units. The second Storm hitting a lot as well. Turn, he's not attacking with his entire army, but still micro mistakes on both ends here. It still could go either way, but I think Turn, he's got the better arc, the better advantage. And it looks like he will be able to overrun Paralyze's army.
Yeah, the Vikings were sniping the Colossus, and Paralyze did not do a great job taking out the Vikings. The Storms did not hit the army perfectly as Turn. He's just streaming in with a lot of units. There is one Colossus left, but that's a lot of Marauders just sniping the Colossus right now.
And even if this army is taken out, I feel like there's still been a lot of economic damage done to Paralyze's army. More reinforcements from Turn are moving across the map. Probes being pulled off the line. I think that is the death note here for Paralyze. He can warp in a few more units, but it's not going to matter in the end here. There's just too many Marauders, Medivacs, Marines out for our Terran player. The Colossus is going to get sniped off instantly, and that's going to be it for Paralyze. Looking defeated in his booth. GG! Samsung Khan going for a quick 2-0 over their opponents there, despite Turn's issues with his hotkeys. Performed pretty solid there.
But
nice
hey,
build order.
Hey, it just shows that Turn was on top of his game, just checking everything to make sure that those technical issues will not affect him throughout the whole game.
Well, I feel like Paralyze, it seemed like he was nervous. There were a lot of little mistakes I noticed in his play, a lot of micro mistakes, and Turn overall played pretty solid. I want to say nothing major I can really say wrong about his play, but parting also, I feel like he wasn't able to really adapt to his opponent's play. That hurt him a lot. So the score 0-2, Samsung Khan in the lead. The next match will be S2 versus Stork. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back after this commercial break.